What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Spill the Tequila here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the King of Swag himself there, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
Oh, I'm sick as a dog. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, upside, I already checked, not COVID, just a bad cold.
Okay.
I'll get over it. Better it happened now because
Yeah.
next week, I have this week off from the movie. Next week, I've got an anniversary trip to Mexico.
Nice.
To Mexico, and then as soon as we land back, the next day I'm back on set. So for 3 back-to-back days of overnight shoots.
Oof.
So like, if there was ever a time for
Yeah.
me to get sick, it was this week, and not last week when I was dealing with set, and not next week when I have a vacation and more set. It was this week where it's like standard work. So it's like I'm miserable, but I'm chilling. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like I can deal with it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to see you down and out. We don't want to see you lying on the court. That's not what we want to see from you. We don't
oh no.
We don't want to see you like you're struggling to get up. That's not what we want to see. We want to see you in full health. Yeah,
it's funny, man. The only reason we can do that to him is because he's arguably the greatest player of all time. He's at least top 2. If he's not the GOAT, he's at least top 2. So if there's anybody we can make fun of for doing shit like that, it's definitely him.
And we
same,
will a little bit
same reason why Jordan crying memes are the funniest thing in the world. It's just like, yeah, you're the GOAT, and you cry ugly. You cry like ugly asshole. And he took that personally, and then he dunked 50 on me,
and then exactly tried 50 on everybody. Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of things here. Hopefully Winston can hang on as we power through about an hour and a half of this show. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world of Marvel with this switch over from Thunderbolts to what they revealed their asterisk to mean, and then changing the entire marketing campaign to try to maybe take advantage of a second week upswing instead of a downturn. We'll see. We'll talk about that. We'll have our thoughts on the Met Gala fashion in terms of a particular sports athletes who are part of that as well, and some people in the world of entertainment. We're going to talk about Trump's movie tariffs and what it means for the industry right now and how much of a madness that is. We're going to get into some trailers, get into some pictures as well, some AI images and all of that. So there's a lot. And LeBron James. We'll talk about LeBron James' injury and see if it's true or not. But thanks to everybody who's joining us live right off the bat. Almost 100 of you hanging out live already. Remember, Streamlabs and Superchats are open here. Sending in your love to the show here as we go along is super important, and we appreciate it madly. Thank you to Reggie and Wiley who have already dropped in Superchats. We will get to those in a little bit, but we want to power through the first section of the show and talk about all of this stuff here. So let's just deal with it right off the bat. Let's jump into it, Winston. Let's not waste any time here. So this is the deal here. And of course, spoilers, but look, you already know this already if you're watching this show, but it was revealed at the end of Thunderbolts in their post-credit scene, Winston, that they are now the new Avengers. It's also revealed that Sam will, because the post-credit scene in Thunderbolts is 14 months later after the end of the film. And we do know what happened with Captain America 4, how Sam was charged by what we imagine is the former president in Thunderbolt Ross, who is now there in the raft, to create a new Avengers team. Well, by the end of Thunderbolts, it's clear that Valentina has created her own new Avengers, and so that will probably play itself out down the road. But are you surprised by this decision, Marvel marketing-wise or PR-wise, to now strip away Thunderbolts? And really, they did something cruel by having Olga Kurylenko stand there on the edge of this group picture, because apparently this at the premiere, and have her stand there awkwardly, considering what happens to her in the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Everyone else is so happy about this switch, but like, what do you think about this with the Marvel PR? We just saw them flipping chairs for 5.5 hours, and now they've made this decision. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know if I agree. It's too soon. I don't have a problem with them doing it, but I would have at least waited until the end of weekend 2 just to guarantee people have had a chance to see the movie.
Yeah.
Because I understand you're already the #1 movie in the world, which means a lot of people went. Do you know what the opening box office was?
74 million, actually. 74
which is
million.
like a sizable amount.
Yeah.
But that does not even remotely guarantee that like what you expect to be your overall gross has seen the movie yet. So it just, to me, it's too soon.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to do this like Friday or Saturday, of this week, because then it would have
sweet.
been out for a full week and like at least an extra like standard movie day or something like that is just extra promotion for people to go. That is my only complaint. And I wouldn't even call it complaint, where I think it's just not the best idea. But one, I don't work in marketing, so we got to see how that actually ends everything out. Two, I actually did call this. If you go watch any number of Capes and Cows beforehand, the minute that asterisk popped up, I was like, I guarantee you, they're either going to get something along the lines of Dark Avengers, New Avengers, West Coast Avengers, some version of Avengers. I was guessing on Dark Avengers, which they did say a couple times in the movie, but they didn't keep it. They obviously went with it. But I did call that, and I have a feeling, especially based off the post-credit scene where they really acknowledge they are the New Avengers, because they say it before the post-credit. If you're like, without going into the full end of the movie, when they are about to finally corner a particular person, they go, "Surprise, the New Avengers," and they're just like, "Son of a." I love, by the way, the post credit with David Harbour. His whole shtick had me dying. Had me absolutely dying.
Looking at himself, looking at
not even I didn't even think about the one in the grocery store. I was just talking about when they were in the tower. Because them in the tower, where he's just like, I know how to get around the lawsuit. We use this. I won't spoil that joke for somebody, but that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my only critique. I don't have a problem with them doing it. I think it's actually a fun thing to do. I just think it's a little too soon. That's all.
It's a confusing decision. Like, and look, I would say turning on a camera and having a bunch of directors' chairs turn around for 5.5 hours made no effing sense to me at all. Yet 7 million people watched that live in the middle of the day, including how many views Christian got off that video that you were on and Jeff was on. And so to me, it's just kind of mind blowing. And so you go like, well, is it PR that maybe we just don't get? We don't understand. Maybe this is a younger PR person who's there at Marvel suggesting these things because it is going to appeal to the younger audiences. They have a different approach to this stuff. They're not as precious with this stuff as we are from our generations who came before this younger generation. We're a little more about like, no, keep everything secret until you have to reveal it, blah, blah, blah. The new generations, they're the one watching reviews for films, spoiler reviews for films they haven't even seen yet to see if they even want to go. So it's just a whole nother approach to this. So I wonder if maybe they thought, well, look, we're going to just full on say it's the Avengers right after it's done. And then we're going to use this to get people into the seats who maybe were hesitant to go see a film called Thunderbolts. Well, now that it's called Avengers, they'll go see it. And so they're trying to, I guess, thwart a second week drop off that could look bad. And remember, there weren't a lot of people behind the scenes who had a lot of faith in this movie because some of the characters are from TV shows that not a lot of people watched, or that not a lot of the Marvel universe watched. And so you wonder, is it enough appeal with Florence Pugh, with Sebastian Stan to get people into the theater? And look, it was a good opening weekend. It wasn't a great opening weekend. So I understand the logic here. I just think this is one of those gutsy decisions that could blow up in your face or really work out for you. It all depends.
Well, the thing that's interesting about it too is by calling it an Avengers movie now, you're going to get comparisons to the other 4 Avengers movies. And like, I see a tweet already where someone's like, here's the opening box office for Avengers movies. 207.4 for the original Avengers, 191.3 for Ultron, 257.7 for Infinity War, 357.1 for Endgame. So, and then this had 76. So like, it also doesn't look great. Like it's one of those things, like it's kind of hard to, hey, if we throw the term Avengers into it, it might just draw people in. You almost need to do this. If you were really going to do that, you almost need to do this earlier. So then people are like, because the problem is by waiting until after that first weekend, which was such a fun twist, which is why I'm saying just let it sit for another week, or at least until the end of this week before you do this. You are people have make their plans pretty steadfast. And especially with movies nowadays in a post-pandemic world, that like, hey, I kind of want to go see Sinners again in 70 IMAX when it comes back out. Or look, Mission Impossible is about to drop, and so is Jurassic World, and like all this other stuff. Superman's coming. I was going to see 3 movies this summer, so that wasn't on my radar. I'm not going to change my mind now. I mean, I guess if people say it's good, but like, I'll just wait till it comes out on streaming. Like, that's the problem. You live in a, I'll just wait till it comes out on streaming world now.
Yeah.
So if you were going to use that trump card, either do it earlier or do it later. But this was a weird position to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a weird position to do it in because you're also, you know, you're also not dealing with the fact that there are a lot of people who work, and especially nowadays with the way the economy is, people working multiple jobs and they can't get out to see this film opening weekend. So now you're ruining a big part of the finale of the film by just revealing who they are. And I don't think people should come out to compare Avengers box office draws and box office numbers to this one because this wasn't pitched as an Avengers movie. So I don't think it's, and I think people are like, I saw some guy who writes for Variety or one of those publications as a freelancer going off about this, and I was like, you're so off base. You can't put this in the same bucket with all the other Avengers movies. You can technically claim that it's an Avengers movie, sure, by the title switch, but it's not an Avengers movie in the way that people were. It was being hyped up as that, and people were. If this, and that's another question of this. Honestly, Winston, if they had said this was an Avengers movie and they were gonna like showcasing all this, I wonder if the box office wouldn't have been bigger in the first weekend. So trying to chase it in the second weekend might be a fool's errand or fool's goal because like the first weekend is where you probably should have been focusing on by making this an Avengers movie, maybe changing the ending because they surely changed the Taskmaster storyline. So why not change the ending so it doesn't necessarily reveal that? You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And like I want to pull the release schedule so far of what's coming because the other thing to just keep in mind is again what you're fighting against and what you've got coming up against you. So like again, we mentioned Sinners is still killing it. And is getting a resurgence back in IMAX in about a week. But let's see, The Accountant 2, you got to deal with that.
Which is good. I like that.
Yep. You got to deal with let's see. None of those really matter. None of those matter.
Oh, you're looking at releases. The film.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at like upcoming releases. If anything is, that doesn't look like anything in the immediate. But like Final Destination on the 16th. Yes. So that's bought you at least this week because I don't think anything in this week that we're in now is much of a contender. So what? Shadow Force? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's Kerry Washington. Yeah, Fight or Flight. Josh Hartnett. I don't know anything about that.
It's
Friendship.
Katie Sackhoff. Yeah.
Oh, Katie's in that.
Yeah, Katie's in it. She's one of the people trying to take it down or take him down. I can't remember what part.
I mean, that's cool. Love Katie, but yeah, not enough. Not a big of enough thing that I've really heard a lot about it. Friendship and A24. So probably not going to do anything. Nona's. It's the comedy. Not really going to do anything. Yeah. Found in a Cornfield. It's a horror movie. Not going to really worry about that. Juliet and Romeo. Not going to really worry about that. Unit 234. Nope. Summer of 69. Nope. Absolute Dominion. Nope. And Lily. So you've got a week. You got a week to try and really redominate here. And your only competition is The Accountant 2 and Sinners. And Sinners is now will have been in for a month. But then, then you are really going to start with this summer stretch of Final Destination, then Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, and then Karate Kid Legends, and then Ballerina, and like you're gonna start hitting it here. So they really have one more week to kind of get it done, and maybe that's why they did it. They were like, we have one more solid week here before we have real competition. In which case, I sort of understand the mentality. I still think it's a little weird.
I think it's the thing where I think it's a great point you bring up, Winston. They saw the release calendar and they realized, look, we only have until probably Mission Impossible to make this thing go, which is in like 17 days. So we've got to release the new Avengers thing this week and take a chance on it. And I think the reason they took a chance on it is because they know that everything relies on Fantastic Four and everything they're doing going forward. Fantastic Four is like the Superman for DC right now. Like Fantastic Four has to work. And so it was clear from the last few projects that Marvel's not 100% confident in all the stuff they're releasing right now. But Fantastic Four is kind of like a turning of the page where they're going to be focusing on everything going forward to Doomsday, to Secret Wars, to everything in Spider-Man 4, Doctor Strange 3, all this stuff they're focusing on here. And Fantastic Four is going to be. So I think they knew that Thunderbolts, if it did anything, they'd be happy with it. So they don't mind messing with its box office, messing with it, a name change or whatever, because it's kind of a sunken cost for them. And so maybe that's why they did it this way too. They're like, well, it doesn't matter, because we know what's going to happen in the end. And who's going to not want to go see the movie because this got revealed ahead of time? I don't know that there's millions of dollars that are not going to go see the movie because, or millions of dollars from people who are not going to see the movie because they got this spoiled for them. So I understand the logic. I do think it's fair to call it questionable, and we'll see if it makes any difference at all in a second week box office take. Because I don't think people are like, oh, well, if it's the Avengers, I really don't see that there's a lot of people who are necessarily going to do that.
You will get a few people that don't stay jacked into this, where all of a sudden they go, there's an Avengers movie out. And then someone goes, oh, yeah, there was that movie Thunderbolts. You're like, I didn't know what that was. It was like, yeah. I was like, is it good? It's like, people like it. Okay, sure. Like, you'll get a few people that will make them go, oh, okay. Especially because, again, we have yet to see a bad Avengers movie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that's the thing. This is a good movie. Even to the point where, like, I remember watching it last week and just thinking to myself how it reminds me so much of the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and it was just a little the little unknown superhero team that could type scenario where you just kind of fell in love with these hodgepodge of characters together trying to solve a problem. And I think the thing above all else that I really love, I have never been a big Superman fan. I've been pretty vocal about that. The exception to the rule is because seeing how hard Superman can punch is not interesting. It just isn't. But this idea of, it's not about what Superman can do, it's what Superman should do. You kind of got a similar scenario, without getting super into it, of like they're dealt with an impossible task with a Superman character causing issues. So what are you going to do? And that's the other thing that just made the movie interesting, is because it's like, yeah, like they said in the trailer, we're just a bunch of people that can shoot and jump around. What are we going to do?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that's the other thing that was really just interesting about it. So you never know. I'm surprised they don't have, and maybe they do, some like Mother's Day marketing on deck somewhere.
Maybe.
I think that could be really interesting if they figure that out. But yeah, I we'll see what happens.
It's more of a father-daughter story, but yeah, maybe the mom's day want to take your mother to see a movie, like, because a lot of people are enjoying the film, as you said, across the board, age-wise, gender-wise, is irrelevant. A lot of people are enjoying the film, so hopefully it means maybe the Avengers thing, maybe, and it could be possible that this change means nothing. Like either way, like it's a wash. So they just wanted to try it out and see what happens. So we'll see with that. I like. Jeremiah Wise made an interesting comment. He said, if it was titled New Avengers on release, I think people would have had higher expectations and it would have worked against it, in my opinion. Second weekend seems like a smarter move. Well, possibly, because they would have expected a bigger story being told here rather than what the story is, which is kind of a smaller story within a larger context, so to speak.
I think if they wanted to do this, a way to announce it would have been, release some sort of footage where you see them. Like, I mean, you can kind of catch in the trailer already, but release some footage where they're hanging out in Avengers Tower in that kind of like third act scenario, and let that maybe be where you kind of tip the hat, and then it's like, what is going on here? I have to see this. Again, it's just the way to do it with them in dresses, which almost felt like they like. Was that them at the premiere from the previous week or something? What was that footage from?
This was at the world premiere. That they
didn't release this video until a couple a day or so ago.
Yes. They even released a video on social media of Sebastian Stan walking up to numerous bus stops and replacing the Thunderbolts poster with a new Avengers poster. So they were doing that. Cool. Yeah,
but I think at the very end, and then we can move on to the next one. I think just by the nature of them having that asterisk, everybody was like, well, something's up. There's a reason that asterisk is there. What is it for? Those of us in the know, we're definitely like, Dark Avengers, West Coast, new, whatever. They were going to do something like that. And we got our answer.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see where we go with that. All right, let's move on to a little bit something before we get in too deep into the other thicker subject. Let's have a little fun talking about the Met Gala. That happened last night. There were some pretty interesting outfits here. We saw some of people showing up and showing out there. Zendaya, you see Janelle Monáe, Doechii there, Lupita Nyong'o, and then on the right, you got Rihanna, who's coming out with that photo
again.
showing that she is pregnant again.
Bro.
What's that all about? What's the deal?
The only thing I could say about it is that we're never getting another Rihanna album. She's done with music, clearly. And the only thing that makes me laugh is there was this woman on Twitter who tweeted out, "Rihanna girl, use your butt." Like just because it's been baby to baby, like it's been nonstop babies back to back to back. So like she out here looking like Jordan, like Kobe and Shaq, like, you know what I'm saying? Just back to back to back babies. Which, you know, it's someone said, "Winston, don't say that, please." It genuinely had me laughing. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for A$AP Rocky. I'm sad for me as a, Rihanna music fan. But but there's been a lot of talk that she has been over music for a while, and really once she started pushing Savage Fenty and everything else, that she was just really fine to move into just letting her money make itself. And move on to something else, And so I think she'll perform again at some point. I don't know if we'll ever get another album from her. We'll see. But I think probably the last major performance we saw from her was her announcing that second child at the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl, right?
And then that's it. I don't know if we're really ever going to get anything. Maybe a farewell tour or something down the line. But I think that's probably all we're going to see. And then any acting, especially VO acting, that she can, just chill, which she's in the Smurf movie, right?
Yes, she's in the Smurf movie. Yeah. So we'll see that from her.
Yep.
But and let's move on to this. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. But there were some interesting fits, but let's move on to the sports side of things. I mean, we had Jalen Hurts there with his lady. We had Saquon Barkley there as well. And then this comment that you wanted to put up here that said, from
I just thought it was hilarious, especially because he just got back to the White House, and the way that tuxedo was fitting. Someone talking about Saquon looked like Trump's shoe sign.
Brutal.
That just had me dying, especially knowing this was like what the Black Dandy was like the theme, I guess.
Yes.
Really,
theme,
yeah. So it just made it very funny that is how he ended up dressed in that regard. That genuinely had me laughing, because I went from looking at him as somebody, and we talked about this last week, as somebody like, wow, hated the fact that you've played on against me and two of my rival teams, but you helped me win a Final Fantasy, fantasy football trophy, and you're so close to that thing, and I was upset that you didn't get a chance to get that record, only for you to just kind of casually be like, whatever, I respect the office, I'm gonna go hang with Trump. And I'm like, okay, so then you're not the one. You know what I'm saying? This is the same man that I know this happened yesterday that just said, I don't know if I have to follow the Constitution. I don't know if that's my job to uphold it, even though I say it as taking the oath of office as I fucking am at the inauguration. But I don't know if I have to do that. I have the best lawyers. The lawyers they'll know. They'll know if I have to follow the Constitution or not. I don't ask me. It's not like it's the one thing I'm supposed to know about. So it is what it is, man.
Well, I mean, but this is some interesting stuff. I'll take this down because I want to show. What are your thoughts on some of these fits, man? I got to get your thoughts on these, man. Because this is interesting. Right. Let's go through these. Let's take a look. I mean, here we go with Jodie Turner-Smith there. Yep. Possibly the new Storm.
Willy Wonka. Nope, definitely doing her Willy Wonka. About to hand out chocolate bars to everybody. She's some sexy dark chocolate. About to hand out some dark chocolate. I love it.
Okay. Somebody said Lady Cadbury or Lady Danbury. Oh, there you go. Then we got Dave. I mean, what is going on here?
Are you sure that happened last night and that wasn't from an episode of Dave?
No, This is May 6th, 2025.
No. I see the tweet, but I'm saying there's a whole episode of Dave where he's wearing that suit.
Really? To the Met Gala?
So are you sure that that's not from the show?
Oh, okay. Maybe you're right. What is good? I mean, I like Walton. Walton's showing up and showing a little Star Trek-y, I think, with this look. What do you think there?
Oh no, I love that. That right there. My boy put his jacket on Inside Out. He really loved Inside Out too. It was his favorite movie of 2025. So he just wanted, or 2024. So he really just wanted to rep that. I love that for him.
Okay. All right. Fair point. Here we go. Janelle. I mean, this was kind of genius. I mean, Janelle always brings it, man. Look at this.
Absolutely. Look, she out here looking like the big Joker playing a game of spades. Like, I love everything about that. She's letting everybody know, don't come sit at my table and renege, or we gonna have some problems. That's essentially what that is.
It's a Joker Penguin combo with that eyepiece there.
She's Two-Face and she's Two-Face and Penguin, bro.
Yes. Look at this. This is Phantom of the Opera stuff from Brian Tyree Henry. What do you think of this? This is an interesting look here, man.
I mean, I think my boy has been getting in the gym. He's been hitting the Ozempic, the Manjaro. So now he out here letting you know he about to be in John Wick 4. He'll assassinate your ass. Don't even worry about it. And he'll do it dressed like a goddamn African king.
Look at this. Look at those gloves. I love it. Somebody said, yo, Paperboy, come a long way. Yeah, there you go.
Paperboy, all about my Paperboy.
Some people were upset that Kamala was there last night. Some Democrats were upset about it. It's like, listen, she is a private citizen. She doesn't hold any political office.
She doesn't.
You fuckers didn't vote her in. She's got a right to do whatever the hell she wants.
She do whatever she wants. You literally said resoundingly that you didn't want her. Yeah. And so she can do whatever she wants. I still cannot get over that fact. Now, if she ultimately decides that she wants to take another swing at the presidency, there is something to be said about, take a little bit of time off, but then you got to get back in the ring, unfortunately. Yeah. But if all she's going to do ultimately is run for governor of California, which is the big rumor, then she can do whatever she wants. Leave her alone.
I hope she does. I hope she goes after Newsom, too, who's being a real putz lately. Yeah. Here's Coleman. Look at Coleman. Talk about Slay King. That is Coleman Domingo there. That's a damn robe there.
Coleman looks like he just came out of Lord of the Rings to challenge Emperor Palpatine for his throne of the Empire. Like, I love that for him. Your lightsaber, I've got like this adamantite sword that can actually deal with a lightsaber. I'm gonna fuck your day up. I am here for that.
He looks like he's going to speak to the Galactic Senate. That's what he's really about to go walk out there. Yeah,
he looked like he was like, it's May the 4th, bitch. May it be with you. Like, he was ready to go.
I'm here to speak to the Galactic
Senate.
Senate.
It was yesterday, right? It was the 5th, so it was Revenge of the 5th. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Revenge of the 5th now. Look at this shot. Look at this outfit. This is where we veer close to.
Who is
this? Is where I think it's Jeremy O. Harris is in an outfit that pays tribute to New Orleans Black Dandies. One of the city's earliest black parading organization was called the Beau Brummels, hence the outfit. I don't know, man. This goes real close to, I don't want to say the term, but this comes real close, working in the house. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
a little bit, but he also could just as easily, because you got to remember all rich white people wore this shit too. Like, this might be the one rich nigga in New Orleans. Like, that's what that is he's the only dude with money. He's the only one. He actually set up the shine business that Saquon works for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Saquon is his employee.
Oh my God.
He had to fund himself. That's all that was.
Saquon, go shine them shoes. Somebody sent me the time code of that N-word, because now I got to get our ads back on. So
sorry, around 28 minutes. Around 28 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Zendaya looked badass here, man. She was looking like something out of the 70s, man. This was badass, dude.
Absolutely. She kind of was giving me like almost a Michael Jackson vibe to it a little bit.
I like that. Yeah,
I felt like she was gonna start like doing like Smooth Criminal or Beat It, and I don't even mean that in like a disrespectful, joking way. I genuinely looked at it and was like, yeah, okay. I also love somebody said the only rich man in New Orleans, starring Winston A. Marshall, directed by John Stephen Rocha.
I know the experience. Oh, I can't with this. I really don't even know where to go with this. This is like something out of the what is it? Beautician and the Beast. This looks like the sequel.
Oh,
this is not.
No. He just went dressed as Rasputin, man. He's clearly about to poison Trump and the dictator. That's all that was. He's gonna live forever.
Oh, I don't like it. What? And George doesn't even bother. George is so rich that he doesn't even
He don't
bother.
care.
Look at
He's
it.
like, I'm
Look at
George.
that.
His outfit was, I'm George Lucas. I made
George
Star Wars,
Lucas.
ho. Like that's what it is. And the only thing I love about George more than anything is the fact that like he love him some
Yeah.
sisters, bro. He's been
Hello.
holding it down. So
Yeah.
good for George.
Can't put any of them in his Star Wars movies, but he certainly can marry them. So shout out to George Lucas.
Well, he's not in charge now that it's in Disney. You know, he put Samuel L. in there. You know, poor Ahmad Best got shucking and jiving. So like he got kind of slammed for a little bit.
Hey, Mon Mothma was there. I didn't know Mon Mothma was at the Met Gala. That's pretty amazing.
Is Anne Hathaway pregnant? Go back up.
I don't want to say that. I don't
know. I couldn't. It was a very quick flash. She's not at all.
Yeah.
I do apologize. That wasn't it. I just literally I saw Anne Hathaway and I saw a little curve and I wasn't sure. I do apologize. That wasn't me trying. It was quick.
It's kind of a boring look, though. It's kind of a boring look.
It's very standard. It's very standard look. It's very standard look.
Give me a rich person on the, what do you call it? Okay. This is Trammell. I don't know. Is Trammell Tillman the guy from
Severance?
Severance? I haven't seen the show, so.
But you were missing out, bro.
I know.
You were. Oh my god, it is so good.
I know. Everyone tells me
he is stunting. I love this. I can't tell if that's like supposed to be like a black flower or like a crow or something that's on his lapel.
It's fascinating.
But that's pretty cool right there. I like that.
It's fascinating. This, come on, man. This is Naomi Aki. This is, I love this. Dude. This is a great outfit. I love this.
I respect your Napoleon complex. Go on with your bad self. Exactly. Try to take over the world, girl.
Let's see if there's anything. Kerry Washington looking like she's got look this is a business up top and wild times at the bottom.
But you them legs though.
Man,
those thighs save lives, bro. What's up, Kerry?
I don't need Django kicking the door in, but I agree. Kerry is amazing. And then Kugler's out here. Kugler, Kugler not going to do much. Kugler.
He's keeping it simple. Hi, man. I'm doing it for Oakland, man. I can't even do his accent properly. I can do Marshawn Lynch. I can't really do Ryan Coogler, but he's just doing his thing.
Marshawn. This is hey, what's going on here? This is Angel Reese.
Angel Reese ain't playing, man.
Come on.
She an icon. Like, look, I'll tell you this. The one thing that Angel definitely like has got on lock, she got them looks, bro. She got them looks on lock. There's a reason why her nickname became the Bayou Barbie, man. Like she style is her thing. She was rocking it. She looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no. Where's Caitlin Clark? She's not even there.
She may not have wanted it. Wasn't she just playing that Brazil exhibition game or something?
Oh yeah, that's what she was doing. That's right. Well, now what's this? I mean, I got lost in time with this one. I don't know what happened here. Like, this is an interesting decision, but I don't know your thoughts.
She kind of looks like she went for like the Whoopi went for like the steampunk, like kind of look to it, and almost gave me a vibe of like Snowpiercer meets like Cruella de Vil. Like I kind of rocks with it.
I feel like she's got a time machine inside her purse. That's what it looks like. She's about to take off back to another time. Look at just like Doctor Who. This is like Whoopi doing Doctor Who. Like
kind of, sort of, yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, Simone Biles. Yeah, I thought this was in it. This is your legs are the selling point. So
hey, man, look, she looks like the little bird that she is, man. Just like in the sense that like she looks like she could fly away in that, as she does on balance beams and on high jumps and all that stuff. She genuinely looks like she could just bust out a routine in that, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Golding, for all you ladies out there looking damn good. Henry Golding, that gold suit.
He looks like he is ready to play Mr. Negative in the next Spider-Man film.
Oh, I like that.
This is him not with his powers activated, and then all of a sudden, boom, he would be able to invert his colors and everything.
Bruh. Talk to me here. Talk to me about this.
Right now, Colin looks like he just sold his NFL team, and is very proud to be done with that organization. Is really what's going on there. He looks like he is forever done with the NFL. He's tired of their nonsense, so he's moving on.
That's amazing. Look at that look. I respect that look. All right, anyway, I wanted to go through a few of these just to see what you thought, Winston, get your thoughts overall. But yeah, I mean, we're no fashion critics. We're not Joan Rivers or anything like that. So Joan Rivers and Melissa Rivers, but we're just having a little fun looking at some of these looks.
Absolutely,
Anything more you
man.
want to say about the Met Gala, man?
I mean, the fact that we had our first ever sports breaking news update of a player being out for the Met Gala, that Mr. LeBron James was
So we
actually a
didn't get
game time decision that he would not be able to make the Met Gala event due to an MCL tear in the previous playoff round. So
take it away. Take it
he's
away.
going to
Man.
have to take himself directly to fishing, since he could not attend this, the second round event, and I do feel very bad for him. So there's that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. LeBron apparently suffered a MCL sprain in Game 5 of the first round series against the Wolves, and his people claimed that he would have not been able to play the next 2 games if the series had gone on longer. And immediately people jumped on this as LeBron making yet another excuse. He even came out and tried to claim like he had nothing to do with the construction of the team, and he was distancing himself from the Lakers and whatever. So this is an annual ritual. Whenever he doesn't get into the finals, or even when he loses the finals, it is always everyone else's fault. It's a mind-blowing thing, man. So, and now, he's got to play this thing out he didn't go to the Met Gala, as you said. He was hobbling around. I'm trying to find that video. So your thoughts on this, Winston, as you watch this yet again from LeBron?
I just don't know if he needed, the reason why I'm clowning him is I'm not clowning him for the MCL stuff. That stuff happens all the time where it's like you kind of play through it and then they do give a postseason report on stuff.
Right.
Where I have a problem is that it was announced that, well, I'm not going to the Met Gala because of that. You didn't need to say you weren't going to the Met Gala. We would have seen you not there. We don't know the list. We literally turn on the TV and go, oh, there's that celebrity. Oh, there's that celebrity. So it was weird to me, and why I was fine with clowning him on it, because I'm like, oh, right, because that is the second round where NBA stars go to the Met Gala instead of playing basketball. That is exactly what it is. Like, that's the part that I think he deserves the jokes.
Right.
All that being said, I think the interesting thing will be is where he ends up if he ultimately stays with the Lakers, if this is his last season, since he really got what he wanted of playing with his son. I'm curious if Bronny gets to stay with the Lakers, if he gets cut, if he gets traded to another team, stuff like that. Like, those are all questions that are kind of sitting in my mind about what's going on. Because it'll be interesting here is that if the Lakers are really trying to make this team Luka's team, no matter the fact that Luka is already like better than him at this particular juncture, it will always be LeBron's team because he's LeBron. So like when you look at like Michael Jordan on the Wizards, I don't even remember what other players were playing there at the time, but it was even with Richard
Hamilton was part of it. Michael forced him out. Kwame Brown was playing there, who was a utter bust. So Ben Wallace was part of the team, and then they sent him to Detroit along with Richard. So there were a few people who were playing for the team right around the time that Jordan came to the Wizards, and they went off to the Pistons and won a title without Jordan.
But either way, it's a situation where this will not be Luka's team until LeBron goes.
I agree, 100%.
And I won't lie, there's a small part of me that almost wishes, I doubt he will, because Luka doesn't like drama like that. He likes to just be settled. There's nothing that would be funnier if Luka decided to leave the Lakers and go to another team.
Oh my God.
Nothing would be funnier to me. I don't expect him to come back to Dallas, not as long as this management and ownership is there, but nothing would be funnier if he left LA to go to another team.
Is he a free agent?
Well, because that max deal is coming up. Ooh. So they gotta pay him. And if he looks at it and goes, I don't think you have shit ready to make this team go, I don't blame him for being like, I'm gonna leave. Let's see, is that him?
Here's the supposed MCL.
He ran into somebody.
Grade 2 MCL. Dante DiVincenzo. And we got a grade 2 MCL sprain, just that hit there. Right back here. Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but basketball, you just never know with basketball. So
no, I get it.
But here's him on the court. Here's him on the court there. So grade 2 MCL sprain. So
I mean, it is what it. I mean, look, that's a real thing, and again, it sounded like you played through it. So it is what it is. I literally am only laughing about it because it was announced in tandem of that's why I'm not going to the Met Gala. Bitch, you think I give a fuck? Like, I don't care that you're not going to the Met Gala. I don't. I genuinely don't.
But let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. Winston's trying to be nice about this, and I totally respect Winston being nice about this. But social media is skewering LeBron, just skewering for this. A lot of, now he got an MCL strain after they got knocked out. Not a lot of LMAOs, a lot of people come after LeBron for this stuff. And I think it's because there is a track record of whenever LeBron loses, it's immediately everyone else's fault but LeBron. Like, and even you could look at even JJ. I got to get your thoughts on this. What did you think of JJ Redick's comments after they got knocked out, saying that certain people weren't in championship caliber shape, and him not wanting to take responsibility for his terrible play calling when the Timberwolves switched to go big in that 5th game, and everybody the next day called JJ Redick for his terrible coaching and terrible in-game decision making in terms of the lineups, but. Here he is out here saying that people aren't in championship shape, and a lot of people thought it was a shot at Luka yet again about his conditioning. What are your thoughts?
The funny thing is I saw Speak on FS1.
Oh yes,
which is now Joy, Paul Pierce, and Keyshawn Johnson. And they were just talking about the fact that it's like, what do you really want for him? It's very clear. Like when you look at Jokic, for example, Jokic ain't never gonna have no 6-pack. Like that's not right. No, that's true. Not a thing. Luka is also not the type of guy that's ever going to have a 6-pack. Which, to that point, there are a lot of people that's a genetic thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? That's true.
As long as, but like Luka is still playing 35, 40-minute games, getting up and down the court. If what you're talking about is specifically effort on defense, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a coaching thing.
But what's wild to me is like. I get it, and I do understand there's a certain level of like, you do need to figure that out, but also, he was able to get a team to the Western Conference Finals, and then 2 years later to the effing finals.
Yep, 100%.
Willed it, and you just needed to put pieces around him to help with that because he's gonna go get you 35, 10, and 12. Like what? Like to figure it out. Literally figured out. You want to act like Steph Curry plays defense? Steph Curry don't play no damn defense. Steph Curry drains threes and is good at assisting the ball. He gets the occasional steal. Luka gets plenty of steals. He probably gets like 2 steals a game.
100%.
So like that is the part to me that is wild, is that he is in shape enough that he is playing full games. He's not puckering out where then it's like the fourth, I need a big 3 from you, and he doesn't have the energy to make the 3. He'll get the 3.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. If you're generally worried about the defense, if you just know. Because the only thing about this is weird, and I'm not going to call any sort of reverse racism because that's like not a thing. But if you want to just talk about the irony, we used to talk about this about James Harden and then eventually just didn't say crap about it. James Harden ain't never played a round of defense in his life. He don't play no defense. James Harden kind of cooks you, hits a 50-point game, and then you're just like, wow, he had 50 points. Yeah, but he also had 50 people blow by him in a game. But we didn't roast him to the nth degree on that. We just have to look at the fact that defense is just not one of his strong points. He is an offensive savant. Yeah. So I think there is something you could do in the offseason to get him to be able to turn it on a little bit more.
Yeah.
For the defensive side of the ball. But you also have to remember, like, even someone brought it up in that same segment with Paul Pierce and Keyshawn. They were just like, LeBron didn't used to play defense. LeBron started playing defense because he went to Miami and Wade got him to start doing that. So I think there is something to be said about Luka having a full offseason with LeBron and maybe something kicks in to help him do something like that. But I think it's very interesting that it's everybody, myself included, were like, man, maybe the Lakers are going to do this thing just because they had the 3 seed. But the truth is they have a lot of issues. They have no depth.
Yeah,
you genuinely don't have any depth. It's just your Austin Reeves is not consistent enough of a third option.
Yeah,
it would be one thing if he was like, man, he's cooking, but like he is a defensive juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? Like then it'd be like, all right, bet. But like even Luka, some of his productivity went down because part of what we did to build around him, he was Lob City and all day. People don't understand it because they only paid attention to Luka and Kyrie, but like Derek Lively, all sorts of PJ Washington were just lobbing the cats. And Luka could do that if he wasn't going to drive on him himself. He was able to dish real quick, and that just isn't also what's built in Los Angeles right now because LeBron isn't catching those Dwayne Wade passes and being put on, one of the most
Right.
iconic posters ever. He's not
Yeah.
that guy anymore. He'll do it for every now and again, but this is not his day in, day out type situation. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Not like it used to be. Yeah. I like Jeremy saying it would have been more interesting if Luca had gone to the Met Gala. Oh, yeah.
That would have been fun. That would have been awesome. And the only thing that I would have done if I was him, I would have actually worn like a fake belly and like gone in and pretended like he was even more out of shape that fast and just stick it to Nico. That would have been hilarious.
I would have worn a whole suit of Nico Harrison's face on my suit the whole time. That's what just a complete. J&B says, well, Charles Barkley never had a six-pack. He was amazing. Agreed. Never won a title, but he was amazing for sure. And look, I never lost weight. I won 4 titles. So come on, that's how it works. You gotta figure things out. You gotta figure things out. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's move into a little bit of the harder edge section of the show. Let's talk about Trump and these movie tariffs. Winston, we certainly had this news pop up this week. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he will hit movies made in foreign countries with 100% tariffs. Let me read that again. Donald Trump will hit movies made in foreign countries with 100% tariffs. This is all part and parcel of his trade disputes that he's having with nations around the world. He said in a Truth Social post that he was authorizing the U.S. Department of Commerce and trade representatives to start the process to impose the levy because America's industry was, quote, dying a very fast death. But then on Monday, he walked it back a little bit, Winston, and said that he would meet with Hollywood executives to see if they're happy with his proposal after the news sent shockwaves through the industry. And just to give a little bit of facts, the Hollywood studios spent $11.3 billion on productions in the second quarter of 2024, which was a 20% drop from the same period in 2022, as studios continue to cut costs in attempts to recover from COVID. But you remember there was the 2023 actors and writers strike, then the wildfires struck. So that has all affected things here. But 2025's box office, according to Variety, has seen a rebound in box office numbers since last year, with overall domestic revenues up 15.8% on 2024 so far. So that's a positive overall. But yeah, this is an interesting situation. Then Gavin Newsom came out with a $7.5 billion plan, and he's ready to meet with Trump to talk about all this stuff. But this sent shockwaves to the industry. Some foreign filmmakers and studios were a bit taken aback by all of this. And so this is such a irresponsible thing to drop in the middle of a time when the arts industry community and the movies themselves, there's a lot of fear about the long-term sustainability of movies,
I mean, the first problem is, what does that even mean?
Yeah, right. Fair
because this isn't like a computer chip where all of the silicon is coming from this particular rare mineral deposit in Africa or China or something. And so we're going to get on that import. What does that mean? Does that mean that, like, hey, we're shooting John Wick, and so he's actually parading through Europe. So instead of us building a soundstage and having a fake Europe, we would like to shoot in real Europe. Is the first thing that doesn't make any sense. So what is it that you're going to be? Does it mean that anybody that goes and works over there, you're going to charge X amount of taxes for all the people that worked on a particular point? Is it the fact that they need to be written here? Or like, because all of the production companies are still American, they're just shooting overseas because of the tax incentives. So, so what do? Instead of offering a better tax incentive to get Hollywood to come back, you decide to make taxes higher. And like, I get that you're doing it against foreign stuff, but you didn't lower them here.
Right.
So it's there's nothing about that instinctively makes anything it doesn't make logical sense. And he just, the problem that I have with him, I have a lot of problems with Trump, but one of the biggest ones that I have is he just says shit without thinking. Of course. So in doing so, you just send a volatile shock through everybody's system of like, what the fuck? And the people that are obsessed with him go, yeah, you tell him. And everybody else goes, what does that mean? And then the stock market crashes, and then all sorts of stuff because he can't. He even said it when they brought it back up to him today. He was like, well, I have a concepts of it. Stop with the concepts. Stop with the concepts. Like, stop it. Give me an actual plan of what you mean by that. And so I won't sit here and pretend that like more and more productions, again, because of the tax breaks and incentives, have been leaving. Like there was some report that came out that some 18,000 full-time like behind the cameras, workers have lost their jobs since like 2023 or something like that, between the strikes and
Right.
things being cheaper to do in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, etc. LA specifically, stuff has moved to Atlanta. Still get some in Louisiana, a little bit more happening in Austin. Obviously, New York's always been an option. A lot of stuff is pulling away from Los Angeles. So the biggest thing that you could do is not, we're going to throw all these whatever on there. The biggest thing you could do is to have California get in the mix. What Newsom should have been doing a long time ago, and get those tax incentives here, because think about it. You have a vast majority of all of the sound stages in the world here in Los Angeles that are not being used. It's sad. I go to like lots, and one of like 18 stages are being used. The rest are just collecting dust or holding storage. That's insane. That is truly insane. So if that's what we're talking about, then understand that and say that and come up with a plan towards that. And you might actually win over some Hollywood people because of that, because there are people here in the city that would love to see the work come back. A lot of working class people that want to see the work come back to Los Angeles. But are you just going to put tariffs? Just shut up, please.
There's just so much about it that is so typical Trump. And when you try to talk to MAGA people, they just stick their fingers in their ears and go blah, blah, blah the whole time and don't want to hear you, because you actually point out the issue here. He deals in generalities. He doesn't deal in specifics and minutia. And he defaults, just as he defaulted over the weekend in that interview, to, well, my lawyers tell me, my lawyers say, I've got really good lawyers. My lawyers say this or that. Should you follow the Constitution? Well, I don't know. Do I need to? And there's so much about him that whatever occurs to him in the moment, as you said, it's whatever occurs to him in the moment. And already there have come out a number of stories that John Voight with his manager were the ones who like proposed this to him. John Voight, a irrelevant actor who used to be somebody 30, 40, 50 years ago. He's done some crap stuff. He's a hardcore Trump neophyte. He is the one that, or sycophant, I should say, he is the one that proposed this. But this is the first salvo. And I'm going to tell you this, what the real long game is here, okay? He wants credit for bringing American productions back to America.
Absolutely.
So he's going to create this idea that America is getting, just like with the tariffs, American filmmaking is getting screwed over. Everything's too expensive. We're going to make them pay for these tariffs, and we're going to tax them to hell. So everybody's going to come back and make stuff here. Right? So what's going to happen? He is going to appoint someone who is beyond these three dopes that he's appointed to be the liaisons for Hollywood, who are going to come in and start telling these studios the kind of content that they're allowed to be making.
Well, that's the scary part.
That's the next step. I'm telling you, this is exactly where he's going.
It's already started.
It's already started, right? Did you see the Robin Hood thing? I don't know if you saw that.
I did. They took off the something about staging rebellion in the face of tyranny. That's not even the one that gets to me. Yeah, exactly. Over on Amazon, they pulled that, and that's not even the one that gets to me. That's just the forward facing. I have a number of friends who were set to start writing on, acting in, show running, various different shows. For BET, for CBS, for like all these different stuff. And because of his whole anti-DEI stuff, shit has been canceled left and right of like, that's too woke. We're not going to do that. You're going to cancel a all-black show on BET? What are you going to play instead? I would love to know what you're going to play on BET instead. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So like, that is the thing that I am even more I'm more worried about that than productions going to the UK, because again, it doesn't make sense, but it is cheaper to find a Roxy and fly Roxy to London to shoot it than it is to necessarily have it here. And like, so I worry again for my behind the camera folks, because you're only going to take maybe the upper echelon. You'll take the camera director, the camera op, or like the cinematographer, hit their camera op, and like maybe they're one or two people, but then your whole grip team might be from London or might be from New Zealand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So there are certainly things to worry about, stuff like that. Not denying that at all. But I agree with you. My biggest concern is this idea of full-on censoring art and media and what that will entail. And just because you look at something like an Abbott, which is set place in a like an urban a public school with a predominantly black, like you do have a couple white people in the cast, but a predominantly black cast, you're gonna go, no, that's urban Philadelphia, that's too woke. Well, there's too many DEIs. We're not, that show's canceled. Like that's nuts. That's genuinely nuts.
Here are the names of the black shows that have been canceled in 2025: How to Die Alone, Unprisoned, 61st Street, All American Homecoming, Black Cake, Bel Air, Girlfriends, Riches.
Bel Air was canceled?
Yes, it's done after its 4th season.
Oh, that was already happening pre-Trump, though. I knew they had one more season going. You had me scared that they were canceling the last season. I was like, what the hell?
I think they did it on preemptively, but that's my opinion. Bigger got canceled, and then The Equalizer just got canceled, and got Papa's House. The Wayans show
Papa's
got
House
canceled.
did get canceled. I don't know the ratings about Papa's House. I heard the ratings for Equalizer was dope. The only thing I heard about the Equalizer that people were clouting it is that all of a sudden you see Queen Latifah whooping grown thugs with a scarf, beating their ass with a scarf. So that part I was like, but not enough to cancel the show.
Yeah, it's crazy to me when you look at this. So I'm telling you, this is where we're headed. This is what he wants. They all want to control. We just saw Pete Hegseth is cutting 20% of the generals in the military because they just want people who are loyal to him, and they don't want people who are going to raise a stink in the press about the decisions that he's making. So the less people who are in charge, the less top people that you have in charge, the more you can control them. And so it becomes that kind of scenario, and we're seeing it play out in multiple avenues. He is going to do this with the entertainment industry, and it's really scary if they bend over backwards, because Sherry Redstone is already doing it by trying to make sure that sale to Oracle goes through, and so she is like adhering to any of the DEI issues. She is full on looking at any of the black shows or any of the hiring practices. She's doing whatever Trump wants her to do, and we're seeing CBS, their long time executive producer. They've only had 4 in the history of the 60-minute show. Their longtime executive producer stepped down because CBS was under Paramount, controlled by Sherry Redstone for right now, wants to weigh in on all the topics they're talking about, on all the news items they look at. So you're seeing that this is a burgeoning dictatorship, not just politically and with tariffs and international, also entertainment-wise. And that's where it starts to get dangerous. When they're going to start commenting on the content, telling you what kind of content there's going to be. Trust me, this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning, this thing that they're doing with the tariffs on movies, and it's all going to be under the guise of making sure it's all about America, but it's about their version of America. That's really what it's going to be all about. And so that's scary to think about.
Yeah. I mean, and that unfortunately is where we are, but that was the thing. For all the people that said, I just did it for the eggs.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is far equal, if not more people did it for the racism. And for regressing a lot of different rights and things like that. And I take more umbrance with the folks that are like, well, I just was worried about. But see, the problem is that means that you were okay with the other bullshit that came along with it. You were willing to sell your soul to get what you wanted, even if it made other people potentially suffer. Because like there's the story of that woman who was like she was a park ranger. She had just become a park ranger, had gone all through all of this stuff to get there and all that and whatnot. And then she saw one little thing about Trump saying he would make IVF cheaper. So she voted for him. And then she was one of the first Doge cuts. And then she was crying about how now she probably can't afford the house they just bought. She won't be able to have a kid now because she doesn't have any insurance. And I'm like, I don't feel bad for you because it is. My problem is I get that people are busy. I get that people are struggling. When has voting for the president ever been that not serious? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when have you ever been like, the one thing he said he's going to fix taxes. That's it. The president is considered was considered the leader of the free world.
Right.
So that means that it's going to affect a multitude of things. So to not take even a night to genuinely go through stuff, whether to watch a full debate, to watch a bunch of interviews, you can't find a night to try and figure that out. You just heard one little thing and that's enough for you. I take umbrage with that. Again, I get how busy people are. I'm not going to knock that. But again, if you can sit there and say this president will do things that will help me economically, what makes you think that they won't potentially do things that could hurt you, both that and otherwise? To be aware of. That's the problem that I have, is that people just were like, I didn't know. This motherfucker has been around since 2015 running his gums. What do you mean you didn't know? He only has gotten worse. And like the problem now is he looks genuinely senile now. He is getting to damn near the same levels of I don't know where I am that Biden has gotten. And that is, we knew that because he's almost 80 himself, but I'm just like, come on, man.
Well, we should talk about this. MK Songbird brings it up. I'm sorry I didn't include this. I should have thought to include this in the show. But our country is currently in a state where that super racist woman yelling slurs at a 5-year-old child using the N-word to describe a 5-year-old child was able to fundraise over $700,000. I like to pretend it was the number that was originally reported of $666,000 because she's the goddamn devil. But yes, that's the world we live in now. That this woman could yell the N-word at a 5-year-old child and another black man and get a $700,000 payout. Yeah. It's true. And look at the situation here, like with the money and what she's getting involved in. This is absolutely the situation where we see, because these companies being afraid to stand up to this kind of stuff. In the past, if you fundraised off racism, like Kickstarter, Go, all these places would absolutely shut down the donations and would send them back. But that has not happened. This person is still making all this money off of this. They're using a third party to get those donations through. Why isn't that being stopped, and why isn't all that money being sent back to the donors? This is the same site that they were able to raise the millions they did for Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, see, so they've made it clear that they don't mind bringing in whatever sort of conservative money for whatever little cause here and there. So I would hesitate to even call them conservatives. These are not conservatives. These are people who are in love with racism and dictatorships. These are not conservatives, By definition, conservatives would hate, if they were actual conservatives, they would hate what Trump is doing right now. Actual conservatives would not. Because conservatives are supposed to be all about small government. That's the main thing that they're conservative about, is I don't want the government telling me what to do. Not full on libertarian, but like they're minimal effect of what the government is doing for me to live my life. And yet instead the government is overreaching left and right here. But you've got a dummy like Linda McMahon writing a 2-page letter that all these English teachers are pointing out all the errors she made in her letter. She's going to be the one with Trump that decides that Harvard shouldn't get their 501c. We're letting the dummies run the country. It's crazy. Dude, one too many concussions from all that wrestling. Chair shots. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens with all that. But we also had some interesting things with Trump this week. We had 2 pictures pop up here. We had him after the Pope died. I mean, the Pope's body isn't even cold. And Trump retweeted this and posted it, then tried to claim in a press conference that he knew nothing about it, or there was AI. I don't know what this is, blah, blah, blah. It is AI. AI that you posted. And they said, I don't know, people can't take a joke, and it's only the mainstream media who has an issue with it. It was like, no, there are probably millions of people who had issues with it because it's horrible to do this. And the MAGA people would have gone insane if Obama had even done this, or Biden had done this as a joke. They'd have lost their fucking minds. And then here, the Star Wars post from the White House for May the 4th, and they give the idiot a red lightsaber, which is a Sith Lord's lightsaber, but claim that they're not the Empire. But I'm fighting so hard to bring the Sith Lords, the murderers, the drug lords, the dangerous prisoners, and the well-known MS-13 gang members. They're trying to bring it into our galaxy. I won't let it. You're not the rebellion. You're the Empire. You are literally holding the Empire's symbol. Yeah. You are holding the symbol of the Empire. I think just that. Yeah. That symbol by itself shows you just proof of how stupid this man is. Right. Genuinely how stupid this man is. Because you would even go as a step further that I don't think that anybody would deny Yeah.
that the first major hero of Star Wars was Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And what color lightsaber was he wielding? The guy was wielding a blue lightsaber. If you wanted to say, well, the red was for America, bitch, so is blue. Blue is also the color of it. It is red, white, and blue. You could have rocked, you could have done the dual Ahsoka. I would have hated you for it, but that would have been a little bit on the purer side of things. You could have got the blue because, again, that is what a standard Jedi do. You literally took the lightsaber of a Sith Lord. You fucking trash rabbit. I am beside myself. The Pope thing is insane.
Yeah.
Because I know there are plenty of Christians that are not Catholic that don't F with Catholics. However, there is still a level of respect towards the Pope, whether you follow him or not.
Yes, 100%.
It's absolutely insane that it's just a joke. Literally, if you changed out Trump and put in Obama, put in Biden, put in Kamala, put in any other person that is not Trump, you would not find it a joke. You would be calling for their head. And that to me is always the rubric of all of these little, he's just trolling you things. I want you to pretend that that was the person that you don't F with. And if you still think it's just a joke, get over it.
Yeah.
Then we can have a different conversation, but you know goddamn well you don't feel that way.
Yeah.
You know so well that you would lose your ever-loving mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just mind-blowing in so many ways. And it's, you know what, like, you can't keep looking at all of it every day. It just kind of drives you insane. But it's just like, you just wonder what the end goal of all, because the idea is cruelty, is purposeful cruelty. This is the idea. Purposeful cruelty, purposeful jabbing you in the eye, purposeful fucking with you, and they go off and giggle about it. And I guarantee you, look, someone pointed out in the comment section, and I guess I'll read it in a little bit, but like Rocha said he was going to mess with the movies, and everyone laughed at me a few weeks ago on the hot mic. Even Jeff was like, that's so stupid. And then what's he doing? So I'm telling you, he wants control of the whole damn country and possibly the world.
Why do you think he went to go kick it with Kim Jong-un in his first term?
Yeah. Yes,
he wanted. So how did you make your dictatorship? How did your daddy do it? I want to see.
Yeah.
And then he's play by play, control the media.
Yep.
And the news that's going out, but then take it a step further, they control the art and propaganda, control the economy, and especially if you tank it and only certain people actually have any access to stuff, make them completely dependent on you. So then they worship you like a god. And the only thing I will say, this is so off tangent here. Somebody tried to say that I was off base on actually Luke's saber was green. Luke's lightsaber in Return of the Jedi, but last time I checked, then when we turned around and went to Force Awakens, everything else, it was the blue one again. That was originally his daddy's saber. Right. And that was what that's supposed to be. I know goddamn well he has a green lightsaber at times, but the one we're talking about is his OG saber. Get on my face.
There you go.
Tricked me. You ain't tricked me a goddamn minute.
Yeah, Jen said Obama couldn't even wear a tan suit. Yeah, exactly.
You think he'll wear a Pope outfit? He can't even wear a tan suit. Come on now. Come on now.
It's always one way for them and one way for everybody else. One last thing.
Way for me, not for thee.
Exactly. One last thing. We had 3 trailers here. Squid Game 3, Grand Theft Auto 6, and Highest to Lowest that came out over the last few days. Any one of these you want to highlight or talk about or hit on, brother?
We could talk Grand Theft Auto 6.
Okay. What do you think of that one?
I liked it. I know that obviously because we live in this everything woke world. When the first one came out, they're like, "Yeah, play as a woman, a Latina woman." And so I like the fact that obviously the dual protagonists here. Yeah, that was kind of alluded to in the first trailer, but we really got to see the other half of that, essentially her squeeze. Yeah, and seeing it from his point of view, and then her getting her out of jail. And all that kind of stuff. I thought that was cool to see what the other half of that story is. I think it looks fantastic. Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, I was like, heaven forbid, like, let me knock on wood so it's not me. But I don't care about Grand Theft Auto that much that I would, whatever. But like somebody that's been waiting for this game for over a decade. And then like you get to, since it's now been delayed another year, you get to May 24th, 2026. And you unfortunately leave this mortal coil. You don't get to play Grand Theft Auto 6 after waiting this long. Just think about all the things we got before we got Grand Theft Auto 6. We got, let's see, we got a whole new trilogy of Star Wars before the Grand Theft Auto 6.
True.
We got Skynet before Grand Theft Auto 6 in the form of Chat GPT. We got an American dictatorship before we got to Grand Theft Auto 6, bro. It's absolutely wild to me.
That's true. It's true. I thought it looked good. I'm not the biggest Grand Theft Auto player, but seeing the graphics here and how much things have really kind of advanced in terms of the look and the feel of the game, I totally want to get it when it comes out. I was reading some of the comment threads, be like, if this is anti-cop, I'm not buying it. It's like, this is the sixth iteration. Where have you been?
So you've never played a Grand Theft Auto game.
Exactly.
Because most of the time they are robbing banks and or shooting their way out of drug deals. What do you mean? Is it if it's anti-cop? What are you, Elon Musk? Because he said the same thing about Grand Theft Auto. I was like, I don't play Grand Theft Auto 6 because it's anti-cop. They want you to run over cops.
Yeah, exactly. It's so nuts. It's
what?
So
it's literally, you were playing a criminal. You're playing a lifetime criminal. What are we? It's not save that auto. You know what I'm saying? Like, return that auto. It's Grand Theft Auto. It's stealing cars, money, and killing. What are we talking about? Exactly. What are we talking about? This is how I know we've just gotten. That's why I'm scared losing the Department of Education. That's only going to make it worse. It's literally a game named after crime. Exactly. What game named after crime is going to be pro cop?
Breaking and entering 7. Oh shit! I hope it's not anti-cop.
Bro, it's like, hey, yo, it's Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse 2025. Yo, if this game has people eating meat, I refuse to buy it. I am a vegan. If they have Gordon Ramsay making beef Wellington, I will boycott. It's called Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse 2025. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. What is wrong with you? So
also,
finally coming out. So yeah, that's good.
I see the best comment. What are we getting first, Grand Theft Auto 6 or a new Rihanna album?
Or that Ryan Johnson trilogy. Which one are we getting first? All right, let's jump into the questions here before we wrap up, Winston, because I know we got to get you out so you can relax a little bit. Reggie Brown said, when Honest Trailer does Thunderbolts and they replay the mentions of everyone saying Bob, that video is going to be an hour long. Probably. Yeah. Wiley Judd says, I'm in the middle of Undercover Brother from 2002. Have you guys seen it? Hell yeah. Of course,
it is one of the best movies from the early 2000s. Neil Patrick Harris in another classic. Neil Patrick Harris went on a string of just classic roles that to this day kill me. But playing Lance, the affirmative action the DEI hire of the Brotherhood, is absolutely fantastic, bro. The him coming back being like, he had sex with a white girl, did he? Oh my God, wasn't everything I dreamed of? Like it just I could quote that movie all day. Chris Kattan, still when he still had it, bro. I love that movie so much.
And even Gary Anthony Williams, who was much more known for voiceover work, his stuff when he was doing
Smart Brother,
hilarious. Smart Brother was hilarious, man.
Oh my God, dude, it was so good. White She Devil, Sister Girl, the Chief. He's just known as the Chief. Like it's just it's so good. It is so good.
Matt Sinister McCall says, Best Snyder, Blumhouse tariffs 100% equals $10 budget. Yeah, that's another part of this, is that these tariffs could affect the budget of these movies, and a lot of these movies won't get made. So he's claiming that he wants to save the entertainment industry, but he could be sinking it with these tariffs, Winston.
Because he still doesn't understand them. It's very clear he still doesn't understand them.
He understands shit. He doesn't understand shit. Simon Sexton says, Winston enjoyed your reaction to the Hot Mike Sinners review. Rocha was cooking knowledge. Snyder was dog whistling. Please explain.
I mean, the fastest thing that I'll say about that, if you really want to hear my thoughts about it, you can go. I'll probably clip it out, but it was part of my last stream. I thought that you did a really good job, and I was texting you as I was watching it. I thought you did a really good job of countering arguments that he put forth that I just thought were off base, claiming there's all these problems wrong with the movie, but not bringing up a single one of said problems. Just constantly saying there are problems with the movie, and the one example he gave about the musical scene in the middle, where you instantly were like, he the one thing that he said that I was like, now I just know that this went over your head, is you saying, he was like, oh well, all these ancestors going to be dancing and then nobody's going to acknowledge it. And it's like, but that was the point, is that he can summon spirits, they cannot sense it, But the reason that Remnick and the other vampires could, because it was just the 3 of them at the time, is because they are dead. Because they are dead, they could see the other spirits floating around in the world, and that's why Remnick wanted him, so he could summon his own people. He missed his people, and he mentioned it multiple times. He even said it right before. I'm not going to ruin it, but the climax of the film at the very end, he mentions, I'm going to do this and see my people. Like that's so that is where I'm just like, okay, so you just aren't, and then to throw around a lot of language to not have something to back it, it became dog whistly, and it became a situation where, like, saying, well, that just felt like a black music video. What? You know? And so that was the most of my breakdown, was that I've known Jeff long enough. I don't think that Jeff is like any sort of like, I'm wearing a hood type, none of that, none of that whatsoever. But I think there is a level of ignorance that you hear in Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail about the moderate white, where they all of a sudden feel a little inconvenience about something, feel a little off base about something, say something that they don't understand how charged that language is, and that's a massive problem. And that was where most of my breakdown was.
Well, and that's why I like the show, because you know, Jeff is someone who stands strong on his opinions and stand firm in his opinions, but he's willing to battle about them. And a lot of people, as I just said earlier, MAGA just plugs their ears and goes la 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 the whole time. Jeff is willing to have a 30-minute long back and forth over this and have me call out his points of views, and by the end we're still friends about it. And so it's just, that's an important element of the show, the debates, the battles, and the arguments. And yeah, look, people want to call Jeff racist, and I get it because of some of the comments he made. And you know, I rejected his premise outright, that this idea that they were somehow giving Ryan Coogler a pass, like other black filmmakers haven't gotten destroyed over the last 30 years. I brought up
Tyler Perry like 50 times in my breakdown of y'all's conversation. I was like, yes, Tyler Perry has become a billionaire and has been successful, but there's a reason why his movies have not hit Avatar and Avengers numbers. Because they're not necessarily that quality. So miss me with that whole, you don't want to say something because he's black.
I mean, because they went after Nia DaCosta for the Marvels. They went after so like black filmmakers do get skewered all the time. And so I felt that it was such I rejected that completely from the premise. But you know, I know Jeff, though. I know I wouldn't work with a racist. I wouldn't be friends with a racist. I wouldn't do a show with a racist. Jeff has hired many people of color over the years. He always seeks out talent. It does not judge one way or the other. And so there is a track record of that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to take away what people felt about his words, because that's a personal thing. And if you felt that way about what he said, then I got no issue with it, which is why we had the fight, because I didn't agree with the way he was presenting, because I also disagreed with his words. So I can totally understand.
The last thing I will say, and then we can move on, is that when you consider that your job is to craft words.
Well,
and your job is to speak specific words and thoughts. You don't get a pass of, I said something that was, I didn't mean it like that. This is what I meant. You were watched with a microscope.
Yep.
And so you need to be very particular about your words. Like that is just something that comes along with the job path that we have chosen. So that's the other part of it, where, like, again, I equate him to the white moderate, because you are not taking the care for somebody that is your job to take that care. And I don't care if it's like, I tell it like it is. You can tell it like it is and still not use charged language and understand what you're saying and how that affects people.
There's a way to deliver it that isn't seeking conflict. And I think sometimes my brother likes to poke the bear.
And that means he's going to piss off a lot of people. And he's going to be, if you don't want to be labeled like a racist, don't take the language of them. You may not have meant to do that, but you took on the language of a racist. And that is where you have to be careful.
That's a fair point. Thoughts on the GTA trailer, Samo? We just talked about it. So I hope you enjoyed that part of it. Mark Long says, hello, gentlemen. Thank you, Mark. Hello. Darren Leslie Jr. What's up, Darren? He says, a lot of people called Rocha crazy on the hot mic for saying Trump would come for Hollywood. Fast forward a few months later, and here we are. Keep speaking truth. Thank you, Darren. At least someone is listening. You know, sometimes people like to make me feel I'm on an island, but I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this guy. I've seen it coming, and we are, in my opinion, headed towards something that we haven't seen in this country since the 1860s. I'm just putting that out there. I don't see any other way out. I really don't. And so, but who knows? We'll see what happens. It's just the way I look at things right now and how I'm seeing it, which is sad because we are better than this. We are better than him as a country. We are. And I wish, and I hope more people step up to the plate and overwhelm that approach, but we'll see, because a lot of companies are bending the knee, Winston, a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of law firms, which is really aggravating. Chris Corcoran says, how long until they make Marvel replace Mackie as Cap? I feel like we'll see fewer actors of color, and Disney already throws them under the bus. It's very possible.
It's a good point, but it'll depend. I mean, the movie did well enough. It did come with some controversy, but the movie did well enough, and you are going into this next phase to kind of wrap things up. So there is a world where, maybe they do have a reset where he's not in charge anymore. I don't think there's but I think it just depends. I don't think Chris Evans is trying to come back in any sort of regular capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to come back for these 1 or 2 movies, but I don't see him coming back in a regular capacity. No. He's moved on, it feels like, from that part of his life. So
yeah, because he would be complicit in it, right? He would be complicit in the removal of a black Captain America.
And he's not that type of person. He was very excited and proud for Anthony Mackie to get the spot. Like, I would understand it if, like the comics, remember, Wilson retains the title of Captain America.
Yeah.
And then you either have Steve Rogers going by Steve Rogers or also going by Captain America.
Right.
And in the same way that Spider-Man goes by Spider-Man and Miles Morales, Peter goes by Spider-Man and Miles Morales goes by Spider-Man.
Yep.
So, like, it's you could do either one of those, but I just don't think that you're going to cut people off. You know what I'm saying? So,
I agree. Mike Joyce says, all this Trump talk makes me want Impolite Truths 2.0. Yeah.
Oh, you and Darina, yeah, man.
I don't know, man. I can't bring that back. Like, they'll throw me off the air. There's a real legitimate concern.
There was a lot of hate, and let alone the fact that in the climate that we're in, I'm not saying don't be vocal. Like, obviously be vocal, but I also understand the idea of, like, raising a voice, but certain of us keeping a low profile.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a high of enough profile to, like, do what we need to do, but a low of enough profile, like, because you like, if I remember correctly, you immigrated here, but you've been a citizen forever.
Right? Oh, no,
you were born here.
I'm born here, but my parents, yes, are immigrants, and so for me, I was invited to a wedding in France in June, and after all of the stuff that went down early this year, I like, in tears, I called my friend who I've been friend with for over 20 years, 25 years. I called her in 30 years, actually, because it's 2025. Yeah, we met in college in the mid-90s. I called her in tears and just said, I can't take the chance. I can't take the chance. You just never know what they're going to do or who they're going to do it with. And I've been vocal on my social media, and they're apparently checking phones, checking your computers when you come back into the country. Like, there's and not even like just Latino, they're checking white people and stuff. Like, it's crazy what's going on right now about coming back into this country. So yeah, I didn't want to take the chance. It broke my heart in half, man. But
I get it. One of my best friends, he's immigrated here from Iran when he was like 2, and has been a citizen for forever, since he was a child.
Right.
And I get, when Trump first got into office and they did the Muslim ban the first time, they detained him at one of the airports for hours.
Yeah.
And so there's this other fear that even he's having of leaving the country at this point, even though he, again, has been a citizen, has gotten into no trouble, just from because you never know. And the fact that you're having people that are citizens, or a situation where they're allowed to be in the country.
Yes.
And then they have some sort of BS that they want to sling. The minute he said, I don't know if I need to give people due process, that should be enough that everybody should be terrified.
Yeah.
And yet you have MAGA that are like, well, they shouldn't have been here illegally. Do you not understand that means he could do it to you too?
They're like,
it literally means he could do it. To the point of due process is not to say you are innocent, you are guilty. The point of due process is to say, we need on the record, a full trial. And his excuse was, well, there's millions, it would take so long. Bitch, then hire more judges. I don't know what to tell. That is literally the law of the land.
Yeah. You knew the job before you took it. You knew the job before you took. Complaining about the job after you take it, it's falling on deaf ears for me. Bitch Boy says, is it wrong for adults to play theater arcade rides? I don't know what that means.
Theater arcade rides. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Is that like the Buzz Lightyear Disneyland ride or something like that? I don't know what that means.
I think it's America. You can do what you like as long as you're not hurting anybody else. All right, let's move on to the Streamlabs. We got to get out of here. Fredtastic says, hey, Tequila. Thunderbolts was a blast. I love the clashes between the characters and them coming together. Always warms my heart. Even the short dialogue between Ghost and Yelena about Dreykov's daughter's hard life was endearing. Also, about the moronic tariffs on foreign films. Well, moron's gonna moron. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there.
Yep.
And if you saw the articles that came out, apparently there was a whole subplot with Ghost with Taskmaster, where she created a bond with Ghost. Ghost didn't kill her. They became friends, but she kept forgetting that John Walker wasn't her assignment. And so she would, like, her memory would snap out of it, and then she'd go after John Walker. It would have been so much funnier. Yeah,
it would have been not only funnier, it would have been better. I just felt like genuinely, like, it worked, but it felt dirty.
Yeah. Agreed. Doug Developer, what's up, Doug? He says James Harden, 4 Game 7 losses with 4 different teams, biggest choke athlete this century. By the way, MJ scored an average of 33.4 points per game in the playoffs. More GOAT facts. Yeah, I guess, but like Kawhi didn't play that well in that Game 7 either. So I don't think it's all James when you look at these Game 7s, but you can't deny that his percentage is
always there when it happens.
Yeah,
that's the only thing, is it keeps happening while he's there. And Kawhi has 2 rings.
He's the Black Forrest Gump. Like, he's always there with these incidences in Game 7s, and you just don't understand why it's always that's it. I mean, I watched that whole game. And I was like, James, come on, man.
I didn't see it. I saw the memes, and I was like, I don't know if I get this, until I was like, he has 7 points.
Yeah, exactly. Doug Developer says, regarding what Winston said about the woman and IVF, you can place blame on mainstream media for never ever pushing back and placing serious issues on the back pages before the election. The mainstream media really wanted him back for revenue and clicks, and they got him.
I don't disagree, but there is a level, and I understand that there is a privilege that I have from where I went to school, both, growing up and then college, and in the bubble that I'm in. I'm aware of all of that.
Yeah.
But I still stand by the fact that the one thing that we were all told, the highest office in the land is president. Yeah. You know that the president is supposed to wield equal amounts of power to Congress and Supreme Court, but the most centralized power, because Congress obviously being split into the 100 senators and then however many, I can't remember off the top of my head, in the House. And then obviously the litany of judges, with the 9 of them on the Supreme Court. Right. So I understand that, but there is one president that it's all the executive branch is kind of funneled through. Yeah. And so for people to not do genuine research on numbers, as somebody that really knows what's going on, and not just they are loud on Facebook, I don't have patience for that. Yeah, especially, it would be one thing if this is the first time he got elected. This is the 3rd election he ran in. Yeah. So there is no excuse. Yep. Honestly, there's a lot of propaganda. There is a lot. I will not pretend like there isn't a lot to suss through, but there is no excuse. Yeah.
Doug DeVos says, who would get more votes in today's America, a white gay man or a woman, in particular, a woman of color?
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Buttigieg. I think that's supposed to be a question of Buttigieg versus AOC Crockett or Harris. Yeah. Definitely Buttigieg, because he's already, the proof that he's already shown, nobody has brought up the fact that he's gay at all. They just go, wow, he's talking some stuff I really like. And that's the thing. There is not an immediate visual cue reminder. Yes, the only time you're going to get people to do that is when they see him with his husband. They go, wait. But they're not just him talking on Fox. That's not the first thing that's coming to mind. Yeah. Unless somebody's bringing it up, versus you literally see a woman or a woman of color, and then that's an automatic, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only difference that I would say there.
I agree with you. Preconceived notions as soon as they look at her. Right, exactly. It's a great point. JMB says, love for Rocha, Winston, and Spill the Tequila. Thank you, JMB. Much love to you. King Sport Cal says, how's the car situation, Winston? Love y'all.
Great question. The engine is running fine. Thank you for asking. But somebody had hit a couple years back my driver's side rear view mirror or side mirror. And when I went to go get the car washed the other day, because now we park under this big tree that's constantly getting sap and berries and leaves all over it, and you can't see outside of it. Yeah. Broke the mirror straight off. So now I need to find another like $300-400 to replace that, which is its own thing right now. But thank you for asking. So, you know, I'll be streaming more. You know, and people want to come in and hang out and tip and all that stuff. I'd appreciate it. But, you know, at least it's driving well. I've just learned how to drive very aggressively with only the two mirrors instead of the third. I'm out here talking about okay. Like, as soon as I get on the freeway, if there's a clear section to the full left lane, even if I don't need to be in the left lane, I am cutting all the way to the left because it's easier to get back to the right. Like it's really ghetto. No. You can't do that. You can't do one of these, Rocha. You have to do this because there is no mirror. So there's nothing for me to like side eye. I have to.
You could have one out the window from Target. You could just buy one.
Hold a selfie stick and put my phone out there with the rear kid, the forward facing camera.
Oh God. Oh man. Brooklyn says support. Did y'all like Companion? I didn't see it. I know it's on Max.
I didn't see it either.
I got to catch it though. I hear good things. I
just started and fully caught up to the studio. Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go.
The studio is fantastic.
Yeah, studio's great. I finished that as soon as they sent me the screeners. We finished it in 2 days.
So you've seen the whole season?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, the episode from last week was the casting episode, which that may be one of those rare perfect episodes of television. You hit the jokes per minute, the things that you brought up.
Yeah.
That was absolutely genius.
And the twists and turns. Like the second they think they've settled it, someone says something and it becomes a whole new thing.
Bro, the ending on stage. Oh my God.
Use AI. Man, fuck AI, man. Yeah. Ice Cube of all people. Just man. C Black says, heads up, Doomsday might announce more chairs on Thursday, referring to Brie Larson's post.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. I have to. What am I doing?
This time I'm doing it. This time I'm doing a live stream of it. Fuck Christian. This time I'm doing it.
It just depends. I've got to work all day.
Right on.
It totally depends. So I prefer they do it tomorrow, but they won't.
Chris Corcoran says, if they do bring Tony Masters as Taskmaster, I hope they make him a secret apprentice to Olga's Taskmaster that was trained by her. That would honor her legacy, in my opinion. Yeah, good suggestion, Chris. Because, you know, a lot of people were clamoring that they wanted a male Taskmaster. And so some people are guessing that Feige or the people who made Thunderbolt, Jake Schreier and them, had her killed because they wanted a male Taskmaster.
I would go a step further and say that's probably not what's going to happen. It's that we are about to end the multiverse. And so we would probably find a Tony Masters in another universe, and he just maybe makes a permanent appearance into this. So that's
true. Good point. All right, that's all the questions, and that's our show. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. We appreciate you, love you madly. It's almost 300 of you hanging out with us live for a majority of the show, so we can't thank you enough. Please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. It's really important. Trying to get to that 50,000 subscribers. Please subscribe down below. Hit that bell button. Leave your comments and all the stuff we got. And don't forget, we are also available as a podcast feed. That is on there. You can take a look at the Outlaw Nation Podcast Network. Spill the Tequila is on there in case you just want to listen to us and not see our pretty faces. Winston, another fun show. Please let people know where they can find you and watch your content as well.
Yes, sir. You can find me at The Swaggy Blur. That's on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, especially here, and on Twitch. The next couple of days are just going to be dependent upon how much energy I have. I plan to try and stream some tomorrow since I don't have a lot going on. Just rest and stream. So come and say what's up, man.
There you go. What's up, man?
Oh, and then Capes and Cows on Friday. Sorry.
Yes. On the Christian Harlow.
Brain fog. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of Spill the Tequila.